What's up, people? This is Southwest Dre, live from Detroit on Real Life Talk. That's what I'm calling my site. Now, I'm new to this, so bear with me. But I've been observing a lot of things and noticing a lot of things, and I've been anxious to speak out about it and share information about the things that I know and that I've learned. And I needed a platform to do it, and this is a perfect platform, perfect way to share communication and to get messages across and see what other people think and how they're reacting to certain things going on in the world. So I'm going to take full advantage of it, and here we go. I want to touch on the interviewing that was taking place with the president on TV live yesterday, right after Election Day. And he was giving a little speech and answering questions that reporters were asking. And one of the questions was a very important question as far as I think, and it affects us all. The topic of what was asked and discussed about after she asked the question. And I don't know if any of you noticed, but the young woman that asked the question asked, how did he feel about the divide in our country, United States of America, and how he felt about it, what he planned to do about it, where he stood on that. And he avoided the question totally. He went off into a different topic. He started talking about the relationship with China and trade and our relationship as a country with that country. And it was funny because it's a very important question, and it's a question that I'm pretty sure millions of people here in the States have on their mind, and yet he totally avoided answering the question. Now, when he got done rambling on about China and our relationship with them as far as trading and is concerned, she asked the question again before he went to someone else to take a question, and she seemed like she really wanted this question answered, and actually I did too. And he avoided the question once again. And he started talking about things that had nothing to do with what she was asking him. And when she realized that he was doing this to her, she continually tried to interrupt him to keep him on the point, which he kept avoiding. And the third time, when she tried to ask him, he cut her off and told her she was being rude. Pointed her out and told her whatever he told her, but it had nothing to do with the actual question. And it took for another person, another woman that was in the front row as well. She stood up and looked at this woman, at this reporter that was asking Trump this one question multiple times, trying to get an answer in vain. And she looked at her like, you need to sit down and shut up. And the lady took heed to the look that she got from this other woman, and she stopped asking the questions that she was asking. And Trump totally avoided answering the one question that this reporter had 3 times. Now, why would he do that? Why would he be so anxious to answer questions about other countries and our trades and our what he's done or what he hasn't done in this country? And he's getting asked one of the most important questions that needs to be answered, yet he avoids it 3 times. That's something that we all need to look at, because I truly believe in my heart that him, Donald Trump, and the United States government are intentionally trying to cause divide and violence, and or just for us to be blaming each other, one another, and not look at the actual culprits that are causing all this to happen. Now, excuse me. I wouldn't have stopped acting. I would have kept on until they actually literally dragged me out of there. Because that would have showed right there that he was willing to do anything to avoid answering that one simple question that deserves a response. So that's just one topic I wanted to touch on. But I have one more topic, and it has to do with Trump also and the United States government. And it's about these immigrants that are trying to enter our country. Now, as you can see, he's trying to do everything in his power to prevent that from happening. He doesn't want these people in our country. He and the United States government are making up things, reasons, speculations, whatnot, to convince the people of this country that these people entering or trying to enter our country are nothing but trouble, problems. They're going to cause violence, possible terrorism, and things of that nature. They don't want those people in the country. And they're making up reasons of why they don't want them in this country, where you really have to look deeper into the entire problem and see where it's originating from. Now, if you remember not too long ago, I don't know if many of you know about it, but when we first encountered this problem with the illegal immigrants that were already living here in the United States for years, have families, have children born to them here in the United States, which make them United States citizens. There was a moment where, and it's still going on to this very day, they were arresting and detaining all undocumented immigrants that lived in our country at the time. And there were many. And these people have families. So they were detaining all these people, men, women, children, and detaining them in these camps or these detention centers with no legal rights, no time to be released, no court, no justice, no nothing. Okay? And they pretty much gave them an ultimatum. They told them that they have a choice for the children that they had with them born in the United States. If they choose, they could leave their children here in the United States so they could have a chance at a better life, but they were not going to be able to stay themselves. In other words, they were separating these families. They were kicking these families out of the country, and they pretty much told them, you could take your kids and get out of our country, or you could leave your kids and get out of our country. And I'm a Hispanic Latino myself. I'm from Puerto Rico. So I'm able to come and go in this country as I please. I was born in New York, so I'm an American citizen. But I can understand where they're coming from, because I have a lot of friends, and I know a lot of people who know people or who have family members that are in that situation that I'm discussing right now. And I feel for them. Being separated from your families because you want a better life for yourself and for your children and for your family. And they're being pretty much given an ultimatum. And I wonder how much that offer was actually forced or allowed to be a choice made for the people to decide for themselves if they wanted to leave their children behind or take them with them. Now, the deep part of this problem that's going on with the detainees and the illegal immigrants is this. There were over 1,000 children that were detained and taken from these families, separated from these families. And they were sent back over the border. The adults, the illegal immigrants, they were sent back to the country. Mexico, Salvador, Guatemala, wherever. But the children stayed, over 1,000 of them. I don't know if it was forced or if it was volunteered or a combination of both. But there were over 1,000 children. And these children were being detained in detention center, and it didn't look like, from what I seen on the videos that and the information that I was given and the things that I looked up and read, that they were being treated good. It looked like they were being really treated inhumanely, sleeping on floors, so many of them in one room, laying all over each other on the floors, not even on a mat, on a like a silver sheet to cover themselves with. Nothing, no tables, no chairs. It looked like a prison. It looked like a jail cell. Now, these are not criminals. They're children. They're people. They've just been separated from their families. Now, the question that everybody has to ask themselves is, these immigrants that are trying to illegally enter our country, and there are so many of them, why are they trying to enter our country knowing that they are not wanted here by our government? Not our people, but our government. And if you look deep down into this, and you put common sense and rationality into this discussion, you'll come to realize that these immigrants that are trying to get into the country are not coming here for the reasons the United States government is giving you. The United States government is saying they're coming in to sell drugs, to kill our people, to take our jobs, to commit violent acts, to steal, to rob, and to make our lives bad, which is all a lie. I believe, truly, and from what I'm seeing and the information that I'm getting, that these families, these people that are all trying to re-enter our country or come to our country and cross the borders against the will of the United States government, despite what they say, I believe that they're coming back to get their children that were taken from them by the U.S. government. I'm a parent, and I could feel that, because if my child, if anyone attempted or they took my child from me, my priority, my only priority and my only mission would be to get my child back. Now that makes more sense than anything that the government has provided as an answer to the questions about those children and those immigrants trying to come into our country. The government actually lost track of all these children that were detained and taken away from these families. There were over 1,000 of them, and the government has no clue of what happened to these children or where they're at the moment. So, if I were these families that had my children or child taken from me, I would be trying to get into this country too and doing whatever I can to get my kid back. Now that makes more sense than anything that has been told to us by the news, by the government, by TV. So, closing on that topic, just some food for thought. This world is different, way different from 10, 15, 20 years ago, from the time when I was growing up. And I've seen a lot of things in my lifetime. But this world has become something that I've never imagined it could ever be. And it's not good. There's so much hate and violence in this world. Kids getting kidnapped, killed. People getting killed and murdered by police, by these officials that are supposed to be helping us, protecting and serving. And instead, all they're doing is murdering and locking up people that don't deserve it. What gives them the right to murder and to kill us? For whatever reasons they may have. It doesn't justify their actions, their murderous and violent actions. And yet, they never assume the responsibility for their own actions. They're always quick, though, to point the finger at someone else, at another person, and at a political adversary, at another country, before they took a look at themselves and admit for once that what they're doing is wrong. So you think about that, people. Educate your children, let them know what's going on, be aware of what's going on. If you're not, start looking around you, outside your door, outside your window, and realize what's taking place all around us every day. Get your head out of the phones, get your head out of the TVs. Wake up. This Southwest Dre. I'm out.